Hey guys, it's Caleb here with Fixin a Ride, and today we are working on the failed cafe racer CB450, trying to get the electrical working. Alright, so we got the handlebars wired up with the switches, headlight buckets in, trying to reconnect some of the wires, and when I first got the bike, I printed myself a 450 manual just so I have it here at 70% scale, and I'm having a hard time reading the wires, so it's taking me a little bit longer. Huh. Why is it not getting power? Remember how at the very beginning of the series I said I had a key stuck in here? Well, I've since taken apart this key switch. We managed to fish out the little piece that was broken and take it to a locksmith for a $7 replacement. Awesome. Didn't even have to buy a blank because the guy that I bought the bike from had a blank on him, he just didn't have the right key. So, the key works in the key switch, which is fantastic. Also works in the seat. Does not work in the steering lock. I don't know why. When I had my switch plugged in, I was getting power through the switch when it was turned off. So I shifted it one space back to the left. So now we're gonna go try it out, and hopefully it should be no power when it's off, power when it's on. I threw the switch back in its proper spot on the bike. We're gonna kick it on, and we should be getting power coming out of the switch on the black wire. Good to go. We got ourselves one of our 3079 batteries for the 450. It's our Motobat battery replacements. Awesome batteries, so that adds $100 to our budget. That's the only thing I've purchased so far. So we have the battery in there, and we're going to turn on some of these switches up here and see kind of what works and what doesn't. A few of the wires didn't match up exactly, so in the meantime I have them connected with some of these alligator clips just to see what works and what doesn't. Alright, so we're going to turn it on. First thing we see is neutral light works. Nice. Second, see our right turn signal works, but our turn signal indicator does not. Turn on our headlight. Our old sealed beam works. High beam does not. The horn is not working. Horn is working. Okay. I hadn't grounded the handlebars properly yet. That's my mistake. I don't think either of the gauge backlights are working. Right now on the back of my 450, I don't have any of the lights hooked up. We took off the tail light because it was super broken. But I do want to test and make sure all this stuff works. So, first thing we're going to do is I have a spare turn signal off the bike, and we can actually use that to test all these connections to make sure when we put stuff on, nothing's wrong with the wires. If we have any issues, it's all going to be wrong with the actual light itself, if that made sense. So, first thing I'm going to do is plug in the turn signal to my stop brake wire, and since this is the Honda turn signals, they actually ground through the body, so we'll just touch it maybe to something metal. Touch it right there. We'll turn this guy on. We see our stop light works, stop brake light. Alright, we will also plug it into our running brake light. And And if we click on the headlight, we should see it turn on too, which is awesome. So both of those are working great. I'm also gonna test the turn signals. I know in the front, the left side wasn't working, so that's probably gonna carry over to the back. Yeah, so the left side's not working right now, but hopefully the right side should work. Yep, right side's working fine. All right, so we did some testing, and nothing's put together properly right now, but it was super helpful for letting us know what I should just go ahead and replace right now. For one, the flasher relay is not working at all, so we definitely need to replace the flasher relay. Also, the bike still has the stock regulator and rectifier on the bike. We're gonna go ahead and throw on the new combo unit because it's the safe thing to do, and it's what should always be done on these bikes if it hasn't been done already. When I was fixing the wires in the front, I already went ahead and made the white yellow wire mod. And lastly, we're gonna go ahead and put on the new H4 bulb combination on the lamp. I couldn't get the bright to work, and it could just be because the bulb's broken, and we need to switch it out with a modern H4 bulb anyway. It's a safety thing. This bulb is much too dim for road use nowadays, I think, and we're gonna switch it out with a brighter, safer 35 watt modern bulb that can be replaced if it needs to be down the road instead of having to replace the whole lens. So I'm gonna start by taking out the battery. We're gonna need to put some paint on the battery box, and while that is drying, we're gonna put on the new regulator rectifier. Okay, so we got the battery back in. I put the starter solenoid back on. We got the new regulator rectifier hooked up. So there's one more thing to address over here in the fuse. The 450, as do all the old Honda motorcycles, use these glass tube fuses that kind of click into here in this little holder. So a lot of times we see these really torn up on the bikes, and not long ago we started to carry a product called a Posi Lock, which is super cool. It basically lets you change out this fuse holder for either a similar glass tube style fuse holder, but one that can hold any length or size or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about getting the correct size. It's also just a little bit more of a sturdy connection than the little prongs that used to be in here. But we also carry a fuse holder that is compatible with the modern blade style fuses. And I think for a safety standpoint, say if I get stranded on the road and I don't have any glass tube fuses on hand, I'm going to change out this old fuse holder with one of the blade style fuse holders on my bike. I'm here right now, and it's super simple to do, so we'll take a few seconds and go ahead and do it. Okay, so this is our 3041 blade fuse holder, and I'm going to install it real quick and I'll show you how easy it is. I'm just going to cut off these old connectors, and then we're going to strip the edges. Alright, we're going to fan these bad boys out. Shove them in here. Alright, we got one side on. I'm going to slip the thermal sleeve back on the other side. I shortened it a little bit. Alright, and that is it. I actually had a old tail light from one of my previous motorcycles. Anyway, that is not the proper one for this bike, but it's the same. These were on 450s at some point. The high beam on this old sealed beam is not working right now, so we're gonna do what we have to do regardless, and we need to swap out this lens for one that will accept an H4 bulb. We're gonna go ahead and get started and swap this out. Alright, our high beam's now working. As you can tell, it was totally just because that sealed beam was burnt out a bit. Next thing I'm going to do is try to figure out why the left side turn signals aren't working, so let's get to that.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Okay, I've been messing around with this for quite a while, and I have found out why my left side turn signals aren't working. I traced my wires and tested them at the turn signal switch. You can tell if I have this on. Shit. Now, did I just blow the fuse? Hold on. I blew the fuse. Light turns on if I touch the contact in there, but at the end of the switch, nothing. Well, after looking closer, fun little tear in the sheathing. Well, it's a big tear through the whole wire. And that's where it stops, right there. Something has cut the orange wire in half. Alright, now, if this is plugged in, where do I plug this? Over here. We should have it working. Plug this back in. There we go. And we have the back working as well. Alright, so we're going to swap out the turn signal or the flasher relay as well. That way we can get these bad boys flashing. Well, I have the soldering iron out. I'm going to go ahead and switch up a few of these connections up here in the front. Some of them, since I'm using a 360 handlebar switch, are the wrong ends. It's like a female to male or a male to male. So we're going to swap them so they work properly and everything's plug and play. It's been quite a long time since we were working on the CB450, not in video sense for you guys, but in actual sense for me. I last left off kind of messing around trying to get a lot of the electrical to work, and we're pretty much there. A few things I ended up doing kind of off camera. My starter solenoid was not working at all. I tried to take it apart, didn't succeed, kind of broke it, so I had to put a new starter solenoid on the bike. And now you can hear it's working. What doesn't work is the starter, which is surprising, but past that, all the lights are working on the bike now. The electrical seems live, power is getting to the coils, and we're going to start putting everything back on the bike and keep moving forward. Alright, so that wraps up the end of the electrical progress on the CB450 failed cafe racer. Except for the electric starter. We will be fixing that maybe next episode. If you guys don't realize, this actually took like 4 days. You can tell kind of by the amount of shirt changes we tend to go through. At the end of this shot in every episode, you can actually see the counter of how much money we've spent and how much time it's taken on the individual bikes. But that's basically going to be it. Next episode, we're going to be getting into trying to put all the different pieces back on the CB450 and hopefully start it. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter over at common-motor.com, and also subscribe right down below to this YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time. Should I redo that?